How many people do you know who struggle with their health? Chances are, whether they show it or not, most of the people in your life do. And chances are, you're one of them. Whether you're dealing with anxiety, depression, endometriosis, acne, eczema, autoimmune, thyroid, Lyme, brain fog, fatigue, or any other symptom or condition, you're far from alone. Living with symptoms has become the new normal. So no more guessing games. It's time to get answers. Welcome to the Medical Medium Podcast. I'm Anthony William. We're talking about how a virus spreads. Did you ever wonder why so many people get sick? Let me give you a clue. Viruses. That's right. Good old viruses. Not just flu and COVID, but other viruses that were purposely engineered. Stealth ones, slow ones, fast ones, aggressive ones, dormant ones, and they all been weaponized just so we can get sick. So get ready. It's time. We're talking about virus body crimes. Yeah, nice to meet you. Sit down. Yep, I'm here too. I ordered some bread and some butter. Yeah. So how long you been sick? Long time? 1980? 1990? Wow. 2000? And then 2006? What? 2007? 2010? So you've been sick for your whole life. 2015. Yeah, I've been myself to hundreds of doctors. I say hundreds because I think it's like 180. I don't know. I tried everything, every trend, every diet. I tried the water alkaline machines. I tried the biomats. I tried the foot baths. I tried juicing vegetables, then juicing beets. You did that too? Then juicing carrots. I tried FODMAP, GAPS, Mediterranean. You tried Atkins? I tried that too. I did that. You did autoimmune? I did paleo. You did vegan? I did vegan. I did macrobiotic. I did no carb, low carb, high protein. You did intermittent fasting? Yeah, I did that too. But I did Chinese medicine. I did herbs. I did tofu. I did vitamin D. I tried every supplement out there. Shilajit, plankton, probiotics, liver, krill oil, colostrum, sodium bicarbonate. The list goes on. Yada, yada, yada. Oh, you've been to clinics? You've done programs? You're still sick. I'm still sick. You did carnivore too? Yeah, I know. I tried that a while back. I'm still sick. Yeah, well, let me just, hold on. Want to place an order? What's a viral body crime? Well, first of all, the viruses going around have all been manipulated by man. Classified medical research and science has been playing with viruses for a long time now. Changing them, putting them in monkeys, putting them in mice, putting them in rats, watching them die, watching how fast they die, watching how fast they get sick, and then re-engineering them all over again. So if you take a virus and you manipulate it and you change its design so that it becomes more problematic and more dangerous, is that a crime? And then you're doing it so that people get sick with symptoms, conditions, and diseases so they lose their quality of life. Is that a crime? How about manipulating a virus so that it has the ability to spread faster to each person? Is that a crime? If you see anybody and they got the flu, they're coughing, they're sneezing, they got a fever, they're miserable, that flu virus was in a lab somewhere a while back. That very virus that's in someone that's got them sick was engineered, manipulated, and it was in a lab a while back before. 3 months ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, but it was in a lab before you got sick. That virus may not have come directly from the lab to you, although it came directly from the lab to someone else, then to someone else, then to someone else, then to someone else, and it just kept on going and finally got to you. And when that virus finally got to you, it's different than when it left the lab. When it left the lab, it was a hardcore different variety of virus, manipulated, engineered. And then when it went into each individual person, it changed a little bit as each individual person's immune system battled that virus. but nevertheless, it was created in the lab. There is no natural COVID virus. There is no natural flu virus. Like in nature, it just appeared or developed or grew from something. There's no such thing as any natural virus anymore. Epstein-Barr, HHV6, HHV7, HHV9, HHV10 through 16 that's undiscovered, herpes simplex 1, herpes simplex 2, shingles, cytomegalovirus. There's no such thing as a natural bug anymore. So one difference between flu and COVID and Ebola versus Epstein-Barr, simplex 1, 2, cytomegalovirus, shingles, HHV6, and so forth. The difference between those two groups right there is the flu, the COVID, and Ebola are shotgun viruses. They're shotgun viruses. It's like blasting a shotgun off. You catch any kind of flu virus and it explodes internally inside of you. It just grows quickly. Catch an Epstein-Barr, an HHV6, a shingles virus, and so forth, it grows slowly inside of you. If you share bodily fluids with someone who has herpes simplex 1, herpes simplex 2, say you have sex with them, you're not going to see the virus just pop off a minute later or an hour later or even days later. It could take years. You can get infected with HSV2 from sexual intercourse or sharing bodily fluids somehow, and then not see that virus pop out until 2 years later, 3 years later, even 5 years later. Sure, there's instances where you have sex or share bodily fluids in some way or catch something in a restroom, on a toilet, public toilet seat, or anywhere like that, and something does show up quickly, like in 2 months or 1 month. There are aggressive versions of HSV1, HSV2, but nevertheless, it still takes a little time. It's not going to pop up that day, a day later, 5 days later, not normally, but no matter what, it still takes a little time. But depending on somebody's immune system, where they're at with their immune system strength, flu and COVID, it can actually erupt in 24 hours to 5 days later. So let's start with the flu virus. How does someone catch it? The virus can enter in through the ear by getting on somebody's finger, and then they take their finger and they stick it in their ear and they scratch or rub the inside of their ear. That's one way the virus can get in there. Another one is if it gets in through the nose, they breathe it in through the nose, or somebody has it on their finger and they pick their nose and they put the virus up in there. Another way is breathing in through their mouth, entering the lung, getting directly in the lung. Another way is actually breathing in the mouth and it lands on the tongue and then it gets swallowed and goes down into the stomach. Another way is it gets put into the eye where it lands right in the eye. Or it's on their finger and they rub their eye and they insert it into it that way. It comes down to the question of how much virus went into the person. Was it 1 viral cell? Was it 10 viral cells? Was it 100 viral cells? This is one of the factors determining how fast the virus can grow. If someone coughed up a loogie and that loogie was a whole bunch of phlegm infected with a flu virus, and there are thousands of viral cells within that phlegm, and somebody else ate that ball of phlegm, that ball of mucus, they most likely would come down with the flu the next day. That would be a 24-hour cycle. But if somebody was at a party and they were breathing in somebody else's sneeze and only 1 or 2 viral cells were floating in the air from that person's sneeze, and they inhaled those 2 viral cells in, that most likely would be a 72-hour cycle. 1 or 2 viral cells need a little time to actually double and triple, quadruple. So let's talk about other factors involved here of how these viruses grow. All viruses eat, so they need something to chomp on. They need food. They need fuel. Just like anything, any living thing eats in order to stay alive. Viruses need fuel. So what is the person eating that will feed these viruses? What's in the person's body that the viruses would love to eat? Is there residue of certain foods that become viral fuel? Is there something in the person's body that's tasty to a virus? These things determine how fast the virus grows. If somebody is filled with a lot of different viral food in them, and we'll cover that in a minute, if somebody has a lot of fuel in them for the virus, then the virus will grow quicker. So if someone has 1 or 2 viral cells that they ingest or breathe in, or they have it on their finger and stick it in their ear, up their nose, or in their eye, those 2 viral cells will grow quick if they have a lot of viral fuel inside their body. The viral cells will expand, grow, and multiply fast, which will give somebody the flu or COVID in 36 or 48 or 72 hours. But if somebody contracts 1 or 2 viral cells and they don't have a lot of viral fuel in their body, foods that feed viruses, it could take 5 or 6 days for those viruses to multiply enough to become a sickness. If someone contracts the virus by taking in a lot of viral cells, 500 viral cells, even 1,000 viral cells, like a bodily fluid that was loaded with it, and they happened to actually get that in their system, and they caught the virus, but a large amount of viral cells at that one time, and they had a lot of food in their body that viruses love to eat, so a lot of viral fuel inside of them. It's the combination of a larger amount of viral cells along with a larger pile of food the viruses can eat. That combination, along with a weakened immune system or even not so weakened immune system, could get somebody sick within 24 hours or 48 hours. But overall, on the average, if someone went out and they were in a concert and there were a lot of different flu and COVID viruses floating around in the air and they took in a few different viral cells, it would probably take between 3 and 6 days before they saw signs that they were getting sick. Classified medical research and science designed these viruses to have a shotgun effect. That means an explosion effect. They procreate quickly, rapidly, when it comes down to flu and COVID viruses. And there's a reason for that. They want people to get sick quick. Because when people get the flu or they get COVID, there's a good chance, there's a large percentage of people will be okay, they'll get through it, but there's a good chance that a small percentage of people will be hindered, damaged, hurt, or killed by it. And that's the shotgun effect. It can kill someone. You hear about it all the time. This 5-year-old dies of the flu, went to the hospital, high fever, and dies. This elderly person dies of the flu. They had the flu, they got pneumonia, they died. This other person in their 50s got COVID, everything seemed to be okay, ended up on a ventilator and died. These are shotgun viruses. They're supposed to have fast-acting problems. That's what classified medical research and science wants. When classified medical research and science releases a new flu virus or COVID virus, they pull the trigger and it gets into the environment. It acts quick. It spreads quickly. That's what they want. That's what the viruses are designed to do. When they give the viruses to mice in a cage, they want to see that virus pass from mouse to mouse to mouse. And they want to make sure the mice get sick within 24 hours. One of the goals is they want to see 1 out of the 4 mice die. They realize this could be unpredictable when it comes down to shotgun viruses. It doesn't mean 1 out of 4 people die just because 1 out of 4 mice died. But it does mean after the virus got around and got into enough people that eventually 1 out of 1,000 people could die. But 1 dead mouse out of 4 mice could mean 500 out of 1,000 people who catch the flu don't recover and become back to normal after a week or 2. They can get lingering problems that actually become sicknesses, giving them new diagnoses they didn't have before. When it comes down to stealth viruses, like Epstein-Barr, shingles, HHV6, HHV7, cytomegalovirus, herpes simplex 1, herpes simplex 2, those are stealth viruses. They're not shotgun viruses. They take their sweet time in procreating. They take their sweet time in expanding, exploding, proliferating. They don't go real quick. They go slow. They're manufactured and engineered to trick everybody. So when you catch one of these viruses, you don't know where you caught it from. You have no idea where it came from. I mean, you have an idea to some degree if you caught herpes simplex 2 and it came from somebody who had herpes simplex 2, but that's pretty much the extent of it. You can go 2 years, 3 years without showing signs that you have herpes simplex 2. And what often happens is when you come down with your herpes simplex 2, you actually see it, you have the pustules, and you get your first breakout, you're going to blame the partner you're with in that moment. You're going to think you got it from that very partner at that very moment. But what's happening is you'll blame that partner where it didn't come from, and it came from a partner 2 years ago or 3 years ago. And that's where it originated from. But yet the partner you're with in the moment takes the blame for it now. Stealth viruses are slow growing, and it depends on the immune system the person has. Is it a weakened immune system? Is it a strong immune system? That can determine how fast a slow growing stealth virus goes. Someone can get infected by a slow growing stealth virus, and that slow growing stealth virus lay there dormant, but only produce an extra cell here, a few cells there, a few cells there. And over time, as the years go on, if the person has immune system fluctuations where they go through a crisis or they get a weakened immune system for some other reason, when that happens, like deficiencies or other exposures, and that weakens the immune system, the slow-growing virus will pick up speed and produce more viral cells. But years can go by before something shows up. So let's talk about viral fuel, food that viruses feed on. What determines the speed of a virus's growth, like say flu and COVID, is what's in the bloodstream, what's in the organs, what's in somebody's stomach, foods that feed flu and COVID. If someone has pizza, cheese pizza, on the night they catch the flu or COVID, some viral cells from the flu, viral cells from the COVID virus enter into someone, land on their tongue, enter their lungs, enter their sinuses, enter their eyes, their ears, up their nose. In any way, when someone gets those viral cells from flu or COVID, the flu and COVID viral cells feed off of, say, pizza, cheese. Cheese is a big one. So when people fill themselves up with cheese, if they had cheese that week or that month and the cheese residue is still in their gut, still in their body, still in their liver, their organs, still remnants are in their bloodstream, the virus will get keyed onto it, find it, seek it out, gobble it up, consume it, and then reproduce itself quickly. So you're out one night, and that same night you breathe in COVID or flu viral cells. They enter into your sinuses or into your body in some way, and at that same time you're eating cheese pizza, the viral cells will feed off of the cheese in that very moment, that fast, that rapidly. While you're actually out in the restaurant eating your pizza, the virus is reproducing itself quickly in that very moment, eating the cheese itself that's inside your body. The two most favorite foods that viruses love to eat, and that means all viruses, doesn't mean just COVID and flu. It means all viruses. It's eggs and dairy products. Eggs and dairy products. 2 flu viral cells caught one night out in a restaurant, somehow, some way, can grow overnight and become 1,000 flu or even COVID viral cells by morning, just with eggs and dairy in the system. If eggs and dairy are not in the system, those 2 viral cells might only go to 100 viral cells overnight by morning. Shotgun viruses like COVID and flu create a crap storm in the body, cytokine storm. That's how they're designed. Classified Medical Research and Science designs and manufactures those viruses. They engineer those viruses so that a cytokine storm happens in somebody's body. When a cytokine storm happens, then trouble happens too, and that's what they want. They desire an overreaction in the body. So what the sinister aspect of medicine, Classified Medical Research and Science, that manufactures the flu and COVID viruses, they want the body to overreact. They want a cytokine storm when the body actually overreacts to the virus, where the body does a freak out. When the body does a freak out, then you have a problem. It's like a different version of self-combustion. And when there's the right fuel in the body for the viruses, that means dairy products and eggs, so the shotgun viruses can have a feeding frenzy, then that can actually really push somebody into a heavy cytokine storm. When the viruses have fuel, the faster the virus grows, the faster and the bigger a cytokine storm can happen. And that's what happens with shotgun viruses. They create a storm. They create a cytokine storm because they're growing so fast, creating so much toxin and so much waste. They're freaking the immune system out, creating a crisis. The immune system is attacking the virus at an accelerated rate. Scientists that work in the Classified Medical Research and Science Department, they want cytokine storms. They want shotgun viruses creating a reaction in the body where there's a crisis and the person goes into crisis states. That crisis state lands somebody into the hospital and feeds the system. So there's two kinds of people, Classified Medical Research and Science and the evildoers that govern them, want to create. One type of person goes into that crisis state because of a shotgun virus. They end up in the hospital. They may die, or they may just get maimed quickly, or they have a slow recovery, creating a situation where they need the medical help and assistance. They need the system. Or this other type of person who gets sick later with stealth viruses, like all the herpes family viruses, the viruses that create neurological problems that end up giving people multiple sclerosis diagnoses, Lyme disease diagnoses, and other types of diagnoses. Those types of people, they get sick later and they bog down the system later. So there's two types of people they want to create, engineering all these viruses. And then these two types of people often collide. Get one type that's chronically ill their whole life or chronically ill for a few years. They got the herpes viruses. They got a herpes simplex or a shingles or maybe 2 or 3 Epstein-Barrs. They have neurological problems, weakened immune system. They've been sick a long time. They might have toxic heavy metals in their system too. And then they catch a flu or COVID. So they get a shotgun virus and both worlds kind of collide. That's a dream for the virus manufacturers. They actually know this. They want the person who's chronically ill long-term because of herpes viruses, stealth viruses. They want them to also feel the pain of shotgun viruses. So where do people catch viruses? Where do they contract them? Where do they get infected by them? One place is shopping carts. Shopping carts in the grocery stores. They're breeding grounds for viruses. Herpes simplex 1, the cold sore virus, that's on shopping cart handles. Herpes simplex 2, that one's on shopping cart handles. Epstein-Barrs are on shopping cart handles. Shingles, they're on shopping cart handles. Virtually any virus, any kind of virus, is on the handles of shopping carts. Another place you'll find viruses, on the pen at the bank. So you walk into the bank, you wait in line, you finally get up to the bank teller, and then you sign your check. You take the pen that they have right there and you sign it. You forget about it, that you even touched the pen. You walk away. You're scratching your face. You're rubbing your eye. You get your finger in your mouth and you get sick. Any number of viruses can be on that pen. And then doorknobs. That's another place right there. Doorknobs. All kinds of different viruses on doorknobs. And then public bathrooms. The sink handle. The dispensaries. The toilet, the doorknob to the public bathroom. The next place, packages. Packages that are fresh from the mail, delivered recently, and you're not decanting them. So what's decanting your packages? That's giving them a little bit of time before you crack them open. Packages contain a lot of blowback. Blowback is sneezes and coughs in the departments where they're processed. Lots of air containing lots of flu, lots of COVID, lots of bodily fluids. They're normally on packages. And what most people do is they take their freshly delivered package and they put it right on their kitchen counter or their cutting board or their bed, and they crack it open right there. And then from there, they're not washing their hands. Instead, they're eating or they're touching their face or doing something, but they're not washing their hands. And they don't disinfect the area that the package was on or clean the area that the package was resting on, like the cutting board or the kitchen or the bed. They just take the package, move it to another area, contaminate that area, and then don't wash their hands again. Another place to catch viruses are on people's hands. People every day walk around with feces on their hands. And if they wash their hands right after they went to the bathroom and they had feces on their hands before they washed them, they don't wash their hands good enough and they still have some feces left over on their hands. It stays on there all day long. And residing in the feces is all the different viruses. Could be flu, could be COVID, but also could be 1 or 2 different varieties of Epstein-Barr, 1 or 2 different varieties of shingles, a simplex 1, a simplex 2, all on the hand. You often hear out there that you should be exposed, that it's healthy and good to be exposed. It creates immunity. You should be exposed to viruses and different bugs and different germs. Germ exposure makes you stronger, makes you tougher, makes you healthier, gives you a survival ability here on the planet. But that's not entirely true. Sure, if you get exposed to the flu, you build antibodies to that flu. It can protect you partially to another flu that you get. It won't protect you entirely because each flu and each flu strain is different. But still, it may give you some protection from that very strain that's going around, so you may not catch that same very strain twice. But they're throwing so many different flus at us. They're releasing them quickly, multiple times a year. These are engineered, manufactured viruses that are created in labs, and they're releasing them. And just when you get over one flu, another one's on its way. So you can catch the flu every couple of months. A lot of people think it's allergies. They think they just got hit with a massive bout of allergies. They go to the doctor thinks maybe it's allergies. Their nose is running, their sinuses are running, they're coughing, but really they just caught another flu virus. They're catching them every couple of months or every few months. They're putting out so many different flu strains out there. It doesn't give a person the time and chance to recover, so it can weaken somebody over time. So instead of helping them, where it's helping your immune system because you're building antibodies and that makes us healthier being exposed, it's weakening us instead, and that's their plan. So every flu you get hit with doesn't make you stronger. Every flu strain you're being hit with makes you weaker. So the goal is not to catch a flu all the time, having space between flus, maybe even years between flus. But at the rate they're throwing the flus out there, manufacturing them and then releasing them, people are getting the flu 4 times a year, 3 times a year, some even 10 times in a year, inevitably making them weaker. That's why it's important to avoid a flu or COVID. You don't want to say, well, it'll help my immune system. Let me get exposure to it. It'll make me stronger. It's the opposite. It doesn't. Same goes with all the stealth viruses. You don't want to keep on catching different varieties of shingles and different varieties of Epstein-Barrs and different varieties of herpes simplex 1 and herpes simplex 2. You don't want 3 cold sore versions in your body. It's the last thing somebody needs. They all can pop out at the same time. The whole thing, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, isn't really accurate. Instead, it's what doesn't kill you when it comes down to viruses makes you weaker. If someone is going to cross the street for the first time in their life, what's the guidance you would give them? What's the advice you would give them? Would it be to look both ways? If someone is going to cross the street and they never did that before, they need to look both ways. They have to make sure a truck isn't coming. There are so many things we can't avoid in life. We just can't avoid everything, but we can be prepared. We can have knowledge and we can have tools. And what that is that's looking both ways so you don't get hit by a truck. Here's just a few powerful tools for something like shotgun viruses, flu and COVID, zinc sulfate, propolis, golden seal, vitamin C. When it comes down to stealth viruses, powerful tools for that: cat's claw, propolis, zinc sulfate, vitamin C, licorice, golden seal, olive leaf, and lemon balm. For more options, check out the Medical Medium book series. For critical details on protocols, supplementation, and foods, bring it by your doctor, let them know, see what's right for you. Oh, God. Yeah. Hey, just grab that paper over there. Yep. No, I woke up this morning. I think it's my allergies. I don't know. What's the boss? Is the boss in yet? I think I'm going to have to call a sick day. So sick. I thought it was the allergies, but it's just getting crazy. Yeah. I don't know. I caught a cold, a bug, I guess, a flu. You think I got COVID? You actually think I do? Do I have to go get tested? I don't know what it is. Chest cough, fever. And when did I catch it? I have no idea. I didn't go anywhere yesterday. And the day before, I didn't go anywhere. What did I do last week? I was at a concert. Yeah, I was at a concert 5 days ago. You don't think I got it from the concert 5 days ago, right? That was 5 days ago. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. It's got to be my allergies. It's not always what it seems. It's all about timing. Just the right time. Just the right place. How did I get this way? But isn't that like most things in life? People out there go through the same thing every day. You need a feather in your cap. A plan on healing more than just a small thing or two. When you get sick down the road, it's a buckle up, boogaroo. It's something to know. If you're viral killing, then you're doing the right show. You're on track enough. If you're not focused on the viruses, the pathogens, then you're off track and you're missing out. But how would you ever know if you're missing out if you don't know what's causing all the trouble? Our sickness gets blamed on us being weak. We're told we're genetically bleak. Our immune system's attacking our organs and glands. They say stay out of the sun, stay off the beach, and away from the sand. We're told we brought our illness on ourselves, all courtesy of the evil dark lords of the classified medical research department. That's right. And don't forget it, because they're out there. They want us to have sepsis. They want our legs amputated because we weren't looking both ways, unstreet susceptible. Oh Jesus, what have we become? And why are they so greedy down here? Ho ho hum. And Buddha, why are they so ignorant to what they have done and what they have spun? It's a dog day afternoon when the evil dark lords experiment with the viral sword they use. But we have our own knowledge of power that will cut the viruses down and cut the dark lord's power. And then we can heal and move it all behind us, move forward and grow. And tomorrow will find us, and then we can live our life with less sorrow.
Original published medical medium information gets stolen and poached by podcast doctors, social media doctors, influencers, and medical clinics. Medical medium information has never yet been proven wrong by medical science and research. Instead, the opposite, only proven right and then taken from medical medium published material and used in the conventional and alternative health communities. Medical medium information continually sets the stage for medical science to understand chronic illness better. If you choose to share or use the original, unique content from the Medical Medium podcast, books, or Medical Medium social media, please cite where this information comes from, so others who see and learn of this information have a chance to know where it all originates, to give them an opportunity to heal, so they don't end up losing years of their life searching for answers like so many have before them. The medical medium information here on this podcast doesn't come from broken science, interest groups, medical funding with strings attached, botched research, lobbyists, internal kickbacks, persuaded belief systems, private panels of influencers, health field payoffs, trendy traps, or gathered bits and pieces of gimmicky confusion. Because chronic illness is exploding like never before in our modern day history, it takes a greater force than us down here. It takes a helping hand from above. Medical medium information has street cred. It's an organic movement of countless people around the world healing. More healing stories of real people not being paid to tell their life-changing experiences of rising out of the ashes of sickness and entering into the light of full recovery, getting their lives back and finally healing when nothing else in the world of health could move the needle and get them better. The information on this podcast is not man-made. It comes from above, from a higher source. Whatever you believe in, whether God, the universe, the light, or the creator, or if you believe in nothing at all, that we're just floating through space together on this rock. Know that the information you hear on this podcast is separate from all the other noise out there. It comes from a different place, a pure, untampered with, advanced, clean, uncorrupted, original, primary source, a higher source, spirit of compassion.